Hi, folks. Welcome back. So, as you know, we're trying to build a garage here, a relatively inexpensive garage, but something for fun, something for collectible cars. And you know the troubles we're having with the garden down there. We're having the same problems here. It's insane. I don't know what they're doing, but we just don't seem to be on the same page. There's a communications problem here. They keep digging down and making these gigantic piles of junk. And so I said, well, if we keep digging, what are we going to do about putting the concrete down? He said, well, they're going to build 10 or 12-inch tall concrete walls, and then we're going to fill it with another gigantic pile of gravel like that for countless thousands of dollars and countless, right? And then we'll put the garage on top. I said, I'm building a small steel building. I'm not building, the Empire State Building. What's that going to cost? Somewhere around 50 grand. I'm putting a $30,000 building up. I can't pay twice as much for the floor. It's insane. So I'm going to have to do something. It's not that I don't like the contractors. They're terrific guys. I know them. I've known some of them for a very long time. But I just, I think that I've lost control of the situation. And the only way I can gain control again is to start from scratch. Because once you kind of lose control, one thing I've learned about working with contractors, once it goes wrong, it keeps going wrong. There's no reversing it, So it's often better to just, cut the cord and move on so that you don't end up making unfriends. These are friends, I don't want to end up, having negative feelings towards each other. I love them, So I'm just going to tell them probably that I'm going to put the project on hold for a while, and then I'm going to bring in other people, I think that's what I'm going to do. And maybe this time do a better job of communicating, because I'm sure a lot of this is my fault, because maybe I gave them the impression that I'm made of money. I don't know, but I'm not. So that's where we are. Now, the idea is to someday, somehow, build a beautiful garage here to store a car collection, which we've started. So let me show you a little bit of our collection that we've put together so far. Come on down with me. So we have 3 of our cars down there. We'll just mosey on down there to see what we can see. So the one all the way on the right is my wife's Mercedes, so that's not part of the collection. It's a nice car, but it's not part of the collection. But we have our first 3 cars here, and our collection is humble, right? This is a poor man's car collection. I know you're looking at the Ferrari and say, aha, poor man. But, it's a used old Ferrari, right? It's not that expensive. But it's eclectic, because we are eclectic. So I'll just tell you a bit about each of them. This is our Ford. Now, I'm not a Ford guy at all. I really believe in fix or repair daily. I'm a Chevy guy. But you got to have one of these if you're going to have a car collection, right? This is the iconic of the iconic cars. This is a 1929 Ford Model A. It's a 2-door sedan. It's gorgeous. It was restored a few years ago. It got a couple of little dings on the paint here and there, so someday when I can afford it, I'd like to paint it again. But it's beautiful, though. Runs perfectly. Interior is perfect. Everywhere we take this car, people stop and they honk their horns, and it's just fantastic. It's really a terrific thing. We love this car. She's beautiful. She's just great, And then we jump from that to this. Now, this is a 1986 Suzuki Samurai. Now, when my wife and I were young, we bought a new little Suzuki Samurai. They cost next to nothing. Now, here's the thing about a Suzuki. It doesn't handle well, doesn't stop well, doesn't turn well. It's not comfortable, has a crappy radio. It's a junk car. Has 2 redeeming qualities. First, it has an unbelievable 4-wheel drive. You cannot stop this thing. This thing is capable of literally driving up a tree. I cannot tell you, years ago when we had our other Suzuki, how many big, hunky 4-wheel drive trucks I pulled out of the snow with this little thing. The second thing, and the most important thing that the Suzuki has that's good, is that it's the car that delivers the most smiles per mile. It just does. This thing is fun to have, fun to drive, fun to own. Everything about it is fun. When we were young, we just loved being in this car. I'll tell you a quick story. One day, my wife and I, she was my girlfriend at the time, went to the movies. And when we came back out of the movie theater, it was pouring rain. I mean, so badly you couldn't see in front of yourself, just chucking down, like the British say. It was really horrible. So we run out of the movie theater and we run towards the car. We arrive at the car and somebody had stolen the top, because that was a thing back then. Everybody stole the Suzuki tops because they just snap off. They probably still do it today. So we had to drive home, couldn't even see in this torrential rain with no top on the car. And we laughed all the way home. We had fun all the way home because the car just does that to you. So this one, we got it in California, so it didn't have any rust or salt issues. This one, by the way, we got in Texas for the same reason. And we got this one, the Ferrari, which we'll talk about in a minute, in South Carolina. So it needed and still needs a lot of work. It needs some body work, nothing bad, but it needs a little body work. But it was painted by somebody who didn't know what they were doing, so it's going to need a paint job. We just put a new bumper on it, and yeah, I'll show you the rest of it. As you can see, there's dings and dents that have to be replaced. We just put a new front bumper on it as well, in the brush guard and all that. But the engine does not perform. The engine on Suzuki never performed, right? But this one really, really stinks. I think there's something. All probability, the timing belt has jumped a tooth and the timing is essentially off. That's something, but we'll get to it. We just haven't had a chance. We did put the stock wheels back on. We did get the bumpers back on. All the lights have been now changed. They're all LEDs. But we still have a lot of work to do. We have some gauge issues to solve. Again, the engine, right, the mechanics. But other than that, I mean, the transmission, everything is fine. It's terrific. And what we did so far is we rebuilt the interior. Jason and I rebuilt the interior. So Jason, shoot some stuff in there. See, everything is brand spanking new and gorgeous in there. Of course, the red part, the paint part, will all have to be painted at some point. But everything else, can you shoot the back seats and stuff, and the headrests and all that? It's just beautiful. New seat belts, new everything. So the car is in beautiful shape, in terms of, no rust, etc. So that's what we'll work on next. And then there's Miss Milagre here. This is a Ferrari 360 Modena, and she's just gorgeous. This one is fully restored. It was delivered to us today, fully restored. In fact, I feel really bad about having it parked out here because it's getting dusty. There's not even a scratch on this car, nothing but dust. The interior is perfect, the exterior is perfect, the mechanics are perfect, the thing runs fantastic. I love this car. There are certain Ferraris that sing to me, that say Ferrari. The Dino, the Testarossa, and the Modena. Now there's other beautiful Ferraris, don't get me wrong, but those three are special to me. They just look like Ferraris. And this particular Ferrari has something interesting about it. It's very nimble. The 360 Modena is an extremely nimble car, all aluminum. I raced Formula Atlantics and F2000s and other Whoop-O-Mule race cars for 14 years. And this is the one car that I can get in and it feels almost like one of those race cars. It's that nimble, that responsive. You twitch the wheel and boom, this thing responds immediately. It's fun, it puts a smile on your face. Feels like you're driving an overgrown go-kart, racing kart. So I love the car. She's in beautiful shape. We don't even have license plates on it, but this is our first big acquisition. This was a bit more expensive than the other ones, but we still got a pretty good price. And there's lots of other cars I'd love to own someday. I'd love to own a 55 Chevy Bel Air, the turquoise and white one. My wife would love that car. I'd like to have a 1968 Cadillac Eldorado, because a convertible in gold color, because my mom loved. We had a used one many years ago. My mom loved it. She used to go around going, I want a Cadillac, I want a Cadillac. My first American car was a hand-me-down. It was a 1968 Chevy Impala fastback with a 396 and a 400 hydromatic transmission. If I could find one of those, I'd love to have it. The first car I ever owned was a Opel Kadett, 1964 Opel Kadett. I bought it for $50. Didn't run. I was a kid. I worked for a car dealership, and there was a German guy there. And he said, you want me, I teach you how to fix car? I said, yeah. So he taught me how to port and polish and how to do everything. We took the car completely apart. We rebuilt the engine. I even painted it, and it was gorgeous, and I had a lot of fun with that car, but I don't know if I could ever find one of those. I do have on order a Corvette C8Z06, but with Siaka in New Jersey, but I may be dead before I get that at the rate that General Motors is producing these cars. We were interested in the, what was that car, Jason, that we went to the unveiling in Florida? I can't remember, but anyway, we sat in it, and the foot pedal area was so small, I would have to go get my Bell racing shoes to drive it. So I think we've decided to give that one up. I'm interested in the Nissan Z if they ever figure out how much it's actually going to cost and they actually start producing them. Maybe add that and then add a Nissan 240Z for contrast, because they're, same thing. I'd like to have a McLaren MP412C. Well, I'd like to have a McLaren F1, but I'm not Jay Leno, so I can't afford an F1, but an MP412C would be nice, and a few other cars. So slowly, maybe, over the years, if God helps and luck helps and the market, God forbid the market should help, we're in the process of destroying the world's best economy real fast. So God knows what's going to happen next. But if things help, maybe I can have a little bit of those things. But anyway, that's our little collection. That's the story on the garage. We'll keep shooting video as cars come. We'll keep shooting certainly video as we work on the garage. In particular, I want to shoot the mistakes, the errors, the problems, because that's what will help other people. And so thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you guys again soon. Cheers.